Alright, second time reviewing this game, this time for Sasha on Io. Let's see here, here you are. You have golden Io, lol. Let's check your loadout once you pick one. Imagine playing Io for 50 levels. Oh, I'm a washed up Masters, by the way, who can only play Nando, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. But yeah, I've played a fair bit of support, so I'm not awful at it, but I'm not great either. Alright, let's see here. You have Moonwalk 4, Moonlight Garden 4, I like that. They have Inara, you can put lots of arrows into her for free Moonlight. Restored Faith, I like Restored Faith at 3. Especially since they have, well, I mean, it's fine here, because their DPS aren't really backline to poke you very well. Swift Arrows, I think your comp doesn't benefit that much from this. But that's just me. I would go High Ground first. So basically, there's only 2 really safe places. You can, 2 or 3 maybe. So you can stand where Cassie's standing now. You can stand on High Ground, or you can stand where you are right now. And basically, you want to be where your team is. I mean, you want to stand in space that your team controls as a support so they can stay alive. Alright? So, like, right here, they're not contesting Query, which is where you are now. So standing here is safe, you see? This is good. But before you were dropping onto low ground in Query, before you, and you have, when you have a solo tank, so you have no off tank who can contest in Query, and that's bad. So, when you, so first you go to high ground, usually, and then if you see that you have DPS in here, you just kind of stand here. You have a line of sight on Barrack if he backs off, and then you can heal whoever's fighting in Query. Alright. Just a little regular split stun positioning. Yeah, you should have been on high ground there. You're on high ground now, right? That dog placement was a waste. So, think of the dog as a 6-member team, right? So, basically, if you had a 6-member of your team, would you send him to stand in the middle of the line of sights of 3 or 4 people? When half your team is dead, you wouldn't, right? Because he just died for free, and that's basically what you just did to your dog. You made him suicide onto the payload at a time when contesting wasn't worth it, and he died for no reason. And then you put him on an 18-second cooldown. 17 seconds? But yeah, you get the point. So think through your dog placement a little more carefully here. Your position here is good. Holding high ground is a huge benefit that the defenders have on split stun. You should still be on high ground here. There's no benefit for you dropping onto low ground. Like, for example, if you're on high ground here, you could heal Leon down there. You don't have line of sight on her right now because you're on low ground. Okay, she didn't die. That's good. Oh, the only reason you might want to stay on low ground is if they have a sniper or some other extremely far range DPS. You're getting sniped out here, unfortunate. But yeah, if they do, you stand kind of here, so that they still can't see you, and they have to push extremely far up. Like, they have to be all the way up here to shoot you if you're here, and you still have line of sight on everybody, and or you have an easy way to access line of sight. Did I just pocket Cassie here? You don't need to walk to her to pocket her, and you don't need to do any of this either. Like here, you're too far up. BK's poking you for free when you shouldn't be able to. See, now you're cutting. Now when you back off that far, you're cutting yourself off from line of sight. Like, Cassie's down there. You should still be able to heal if you're on high ground. See, this is good. You see, you have line of sight on any DPS who decide to go low ground to make some extra space. You have line of sight on Barrack, who's standing on high ground, and you can easily back off if anything bad happens. Alright, while you're in spawn, I'm gonna talk about the point position a little more, I think. Alright, so, basically, on Splitstone, backline DPS are extremely strong because they can just stand on their platform and shoot for free. So you can stand here. This cuts off line of sight from their backline DPS and still allows you to heal point or whatever. If your team doesn't go into Query here, because you won't have line of sight on them if they do. If they're kind of down here though on lava side, then this place is good because your team can easily back off, or it can stand down here if they're on lava side. Although that's a little more risky because you don't have line of sight on your point tank unless you move over there, rotate over, and then if your team is contesting Query, then you stand here, right? And then this also offers a really nice place to way to place your dog easily. Right here, you're way too far up. You should be in Query right now. I understand that you want to place your dog earlier, but honestly, your Barrack is always on point. It doesn't look like he's getting off for any reason. So yeah, again, back to the metaphor of the dog as the 6th member of your team. You shouldn't be chasing an Ahri here. You're asking to die. Yeah, you're walking into confined space with a tank, which is where they excel the most. That's just asking to die there. You should have just backed up and let Tiger finish her. Anyway, back to the dog positioning. Let's say your dog is a tank, right? Would you place 2 tanks on point together against a BK and a Vivian to get melted? You wouldn't, right? So, in the same way, don't place your dog. Like, don't stack it with Barrack, because it's just going to get melted for no reason. If Barrack is on point and you can't convince it to get off, even if you put dog there, just put dog somewhere else. If you know what I mean, yeah. See, now it's good, because Barrack is safely poking from his position inside the room, grinder room. I don't know what that place is called. And then you have the dog contesting point. They're not stacking. Need to back off here. Unfortunate. You should have jumped. If you were on Query high ground, just jump to here and then just walk away. This is much safer. But yeah, it's okay that you died. You died with your team, so. You're just exposing yourself to backline DPS for free here. This is kind of what I'm talking about. So you can stand here, and Vivian does not have line of sight on you, and you can still peek out and shoot to get your moonlight back, or you can stand here like you were. Although it's harder to back off because you can't just walk down this way. So yeah, I would have liked you to see a position here instead of walking up here and taking a bunch of fire from Vivian for free. You should not go down and heal Cassie. Yuki's a perfectly confident player. He knows when to back off, and he knows how to come to you for healing. Right now, you're on low ground. You don't have enough vertical mobility to get back to high ground easily, and you're very lucky that you didn't get picked off there. You still might get picked off. Oh no. Okay, you got lucky though. You deserve to die there. Vivian could have killed you extremely easily, because you have no good way to back off when you go onto low ground. If you don't have enough vertical mobility, or just mobility in general, to get back to high ground after you go down there, then you shouldn't go down there. I was on Yuki about that in his review too, because Cassie doesn't really have enough mobility to get back, which is why he died, and you went all the way out there to heal him. Okay, Barrack didn't back off in time, unfortunate. Okay, Nora just died because reasons. My bad. Excuse me. Go into high ground here, like on the stairs where I should have before. Nice. Okay, just pocket Cassie here. That's good. You're eating a lot of random grumpies, which is a little odd. I don't know if you just don't see the indicator or what, but yeah. It'd be better if you didn't do that. Your items, Haven, Chronos. You don't get Chronos on IO. You just don't. The dog cooldown time by itself isn't worth reducing. Lunar Leap has a reset, which you don't have. Oh no, I lied. You do have it. Yeah, so you have this. There's no need for Chronos. I mean, So Lunar Leap already has a reset for when you're low. The dog cooldown isn't worth getting Chronos for. You're buying Chronos 2 here. That's a no-no. That's a big no-no. It's basically useless. It has a bit of dog redeploy time. That's a card you can get as a filler, which is just better. It saves you credits. And putting the dog down to 17-second cooldown, that's just not worth it. So Chronos is a very poor item choice. You should just not get it ever. Nimble is fine. You'll want to rotate a lot here. Barrack didn't back off. That's unfortunate. And again, your dog got killed. You see, while stacking with Barrack on point, and now you don't have dog here to help you with duels and whatnot. So yeah, a bit of a waste. If you're gonna ride straight onto low ground and play dog though, you should stack more master riding. I don't like standing here at all. A lot of IO players I talk to like to rotate there from time to time to try to get the cheeky ult into the grinder. I personally am not too fond of it. But yeah, you got out of there because you rotated out quickly. That's good. You don't want to be there for an extended amount of time, and especially not when your team is down one, like Barrack was gone there. You're chasing too far. Chasing too far. Vivian just killed you. See? Like this one I talked about. You can't be down here. You just can't. You have to be over here with your team contesting, so that you can back off here if necessary. You have to be in query when your team is contesting query. If neither flanks are being contested, then you have to stand up here. Those are basically about the only places they can imagine. Like if Vivian was down here and you were up here, she wouldn't be able to shoot you. Instead, you were standing down here, and then Vivian just got a flick on you for free. Oh, sorry for low FPS, by the way. I don't have a great PC. Again, yeah, random Grumpy Mom stun. I don't know what that's all about. Okay, just pushing the payload. Chilling. All good. I don't know why you just kind of fire into nowhere sometimes. That's also kind of weird. You're wasting ammo. Like, what's the point? Maybe shooting at corners or something is good because you're a projectile champion, but kind of just shooting at empty is a little odd. Okay, here you were on high ground without any of your DPS with you. That's bad. I think a DPS should have been with you, but since they weren't, you kind of just have to camp here, like over here, and then so that you can hop back to here. Because otherwise they can just walk up here and just kill you for free. Or if you backed up earlier, but you didn't, which is unfortunate. What? I'm gonna assume like you tabbed out or something accidentally there. You just ignore it. Alright then. Should go on high ground here now. Just shoot the wall. You don't need to heal Cassie, she's full. You could have just shot the wall there to get some moonlight back. You're extremely far in here. Why are you healing backward? You're in front of your team and you're healing backward to them. That's not where you want to be. You're a support, you need to stay in the back line. You should be here healing. Or even better, up here. Up. Well, I mean you're pushing too far in now for that to work. Which means you kinda have to stand here. But yeah. Being in front of your team as a support is no. Yeah, just avoid that word. Just never do it. Okay, Barrack died because they have a billion damage. Unfortunate. That That there was a little bit on you and a little bit on Yuki. I told Yuki in his review of this game that he should have been on high ground and contesting BK, and he kind of half agreed with me. But also you should have been kind of aware of what's going on up here, because a main problem of being here is that their whole team just kind of can shoot at you, and they can come walking onto high ground and just frag you however they want. Like that's a big issue of this last section of split stone, because there's not really anywhere safe to stand for support. You need line of sight on the tank, which means you have to be like here, or you have to be here, and both of these are kind of bad in their own way. Like this is literally right outside of their spawn, and like if your off tank is just pushing through here, that's good, like it's fine. But if you since you don't have an off tank, you kind of have to stand here, and you need to be careful when to back off and whatnot. I don't know what you're dying to be honest. You should not be there. You're trying to like aggro an aura. It's not worth it. You're just gonna get shot at. It's not like you desperately need Moonlight or anything. So, and even if you did, you could shoot the wall for Moonlight. To aggro here, don't be on point with Barrack. See, that's when I would love to see you be on high ground, because like you were down here, they were constantly fragging. BK was just rolling through this side. What can you do? You can't do anything. You have to be here, right? But you can't, because you have no one controlling query, so they can still walk into you from query. So the only way we're left to stand is up here. When you're down here, you're just walking around aimlessly. You have no idea where to go, because there is nowhere safe to go. You just have to stay on high ground. You're going up here. That's extremely gutsy. You did. I know you wanted to contest with Dog, but it's not worth it. When you want to contest with Dog is at the very end, you know, for overtime. You went too early. And more than that, you went too early to a place which was completely unsafe for you to stand. And you staggered out your team even harder and resulted in a loss. And yeah, that wasn't directly on you, because the rest of your team was staggering also. But you could have played that better. I'm debating whether to do this or not. Okay, I guess I'll suppose I'll do it. So I'm just gonna go over some basic places where I think you can stand and you can't stand on split stone. You can skip this if you want. It's like nothing overly complicated. But you know.
Choose your champion.
Alrighty.
Make your champion your own.
Need. What doesn't kill me,
Alright. So on Splitstone's a very difficult map to play support on, because it's hard to maintain your line of sight to wherever your team wants to push, while also keeping yourself safe, right? And there's only a few places where you can kind of do that, and if your team isn't doing any of those, then you kind of have to settle for subpar spots. And I mentioned some of these. Hopefully the match will start sometime within the next 2,000 years. Cool. Alright, so let's say you're Aya, right? So Amos taught me this. You can ride your horse around here, right? And then stand here. And then if you wall jump off of this furnace, if you wall jump and then you backward moonleap, fuck, I should have picked Aya so I could demonstrate it to you. But if you do that, you can make it over the wall, and you will reach the point, and you will have the opportunity to put Dog on point before the enemy, even if they have master riding, has the opportunity to pressure you. And that, I think that would be an extremely good thing for you, because you are very eager to put Dog on point. I am too sometimes, yeah, but it was unnecessary there in that game, because Barrack was always contesting point. And but if you do want to put Dog on point, you can use that trick, yeah. If you have slow fall also, at level 1 or 2 minimum. I can't remember. You can also make it to the top of this quarry, and then you can put it there, and then you can jump back up to high ground, or just drop to this quarry. Okay. Now for the position to shoot standing in. So up here, if your team isn't contesting any of these places, so you have your team is going to push a flank, right? Usually, like you have an off tank who's kind of flanking and trying to make some space for your DPS or flank. So usually this is quarry, and if they're in quarry, you can't heal them from up here, right? So you stand here. You have line of sight of tanks. You can heal whoever's in quarry, and then if things get dicey, you back up to the house. Now, if your team isn't contesting quarry and they are not contesting lava side, you must stay on high ground, because otherwise you'll get hard flanked by people from either of these sides, and you will have nowhere to run. On high ground is the safest place. If they just like hard flank you around lava side, you're gonna have to use dog to defend yourself, or tell your team to stop them, because you know, if your team just lets like 2 or 3 people walk into you, then you're probably done anyway. If your team contests lava side, here you either stay on high ground and heal them when they back off, and also have line of sight on the tanks here, or you stay down here, heal these guys, and then rotate over to heal whoever's on point. If your team controls lava side like pretty completely, then you can go into the little room next to the point, and then try to get an ult on the tanks, on the point tank into grinder. But if you do that by yourself, it's really risky. The point tank can just walk into you. Anyone that decides to just walk into lava side can just walk into you. You know, I think it's just not worth the risk unless you really need to make a play somehow. I'm gonna go over the push as soon as this shit ends.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Alrighty. So let's say you just cap the point, right? And you're trying to push it in. You just won a team fight and you cap the point, and then you're trying to push it in. You're IO, so you don't have to stand on the point. You can push your dog on point, and then you kind of just want to stand in here, right? Because their TPS have the advantage of high ground because they're non defense. But their DPS are going to be standing up here as they defend. You can't be standing here in the open anywhere because they're just going to frag you for free. You have to stand somewhere where you're safe, right? And your tanks are going to be pushing up over there. So pretty much just kind of stand here, or oh, I'm dead now. Okay then. I wish I could just add a bot that just doesn't move, you know. Anyway, or you just kind of stand here, and then you, and then like as your team starts pushing up this area, then you start moving up. Again, the main priority is to be safe from their backline DPS who are standing on high ground. As your team pushes up here, then you start standing here, you know, or over here. And then as they push it in, you try to stand on high ground here. Your off tank should be contesting up here. So you need a way to heal them. That's here. Or you can, never mind. just kind of, you know, rotate around this kind of upper area, and then as you push it in, you kind of have to stand here unless your off tank is like insane, in which case you can stand here. And I think that's pretty much all I can do for Splitston. Shit, I forgot to talk about defense. Okay, if you don't know where to stand on defense, just ask me, and I guess I'll make another bit about it, or I'll just show you, like take a picture or something. But yeah, overall, your positioning I think was too aggressive. You were too aggressive with your ults and the damage that I think you thought that you should have been doing. Like for example, on last point when Anara walled herself off, you hopped onto the thing to try to shoot her anyway. That's just not worth it. It's Anara, and she has double support. You're not going to be doing any damage worth mentioning. It's just not worth it. And you're getting fragged by Vivian. You're on low ground when you're just on low ground mid all the time, letting Vivian shoot you. That's very bad. Your team wasn't contesting queries, so you should have been high ground, but you never were. Overall, yeah, not too great, but you know, unfortunate. It was still winnable. Just your team staggered out a bit at the end. Well, GG's. Hopefully you learned something. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not. But yeah, that's my opinion in the game.